KUAM TV 8, your broadcast home for the games of the 31st Olympiad. Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson Navigation, proud sponsor of FestPac 2016, Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion, IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, Pacific Solar and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo, always open, always local.
Coming up, police investigate another traffic-related fatality.
More on a man accused of secretly taping minors while showering.
And it's a $6 million mistake that's prompted one of your senators to call for an audit. Good evening, Guam. If you're watching us live on KUAM TV or on YouTube from wherever you are in the world, Afade. Well, the 10th traffic-related fatality of the year tops our broadcast as a driver has been pronounced dead after running off the roadway and striking a power pole along Route 1 down in Anigua. According to GPD, the single car accident occurred just before 9 a.m. today. The driver was operating a 2014 Toyota Yaris with the victim transported to Naval Hospital in Agana Heights before being transferred to GMH in Tamuning. No further details on the driver's identity have been released at this time.
The Guam Police Department and the University of Guam have launched investigations into a tutor who's accused of capturing videos of unsuspecting girls in the shower and in class.
Crystal Paco has our next story.
He's accused of being a peeping Tom and setting up cameras in bathrooms and a college classroom to get footage of unsuspecting girls in the nude. On Friday night, 42-year-old J. Ignacio Canato was arrested for voyeuristic content found on a USB flash drive believed to be his. According to court documents, it was last Wednesday, Canato's former roommate filed a complaint with the Tumon precinct alleging Kanata owned footage of female minors in the restroom. When police viewed the thumb drive, they found multiple files, one of which depicted a then 9-year-old girl standing in a bathtub with her private parts exposed. The camera appeared to be hidden under the bathroom sink. The girl's mother believes the video was taken in July 2015. When Kanata was last in the apartment. A second video shows Kanata setting up the camera under the sink and shows him exiting the bathroom. That's when a then 15-year-old girl enters, undresses, and showers. Court documents note one more video, this time in a University of Guam classroom. An unidentified and unsuspecting female is seen walking towards the camera when the camera is maneuvered to face up her skirt and show her undergarments. When interviewed by police, Kanata denied owning the thumb drive, but court documents note he told a third party he owned the device and that the girls captured on video were from the Philippines. Shortly after his arrest, the University of Guam issued a statement noting Kanata is a temporary employee who served as a tutor in the TRIO programs, which assist low-income or first-generation college-bound students with finishing high school and enrolling into college. His contract was to run from April 2016 to August 2016, but has since been terminated as a result of his recent arrest and concerns for student safety. UOG notes that just days prior to his arrest, two parents expressed concerns regarding Kanata's criminal history. That case, however, was expunged at the Superior Court of Guam. UOG notes Kanata submitted his police and court clearances upon hiring, and no red flags came up. Quote, the university is conducting an internal investigation of Mr. Kanata's employment and his activities to include an examination of his personnel records and how he was hired. The court and police clearances he submitted did not show any record of court cases or convictions. We are also awaiting confirmation from the Guam Police Department regarding allegations that some of the video files were recorded at UOG, end quote. Kanata was also previously employed with the Department of Education. According to DOE Deputy Superintendent Chris Anderson, Kanata was briefly hired as a limited-term on-call substitute teacher in March of 2014. He was also previously employed with DOE for school year 2006 2007. Kanata was arrested and charged with 2 counts of invasion of privacy as a third-degree felony. He's being held on $5,000 cash bail with a preliminary hearing set for July 19. Anyone with further information regarding Kanata is urged to call Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP or call the UOG helpline at 735-HELP. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Well, KUAM News files show that Kanata was arrested back in 2012, but when we checked the Superior Court, there was no case file, which typically indicates that the case was expunged. Additionally, our archives show that Kanata was fired from his federal job at the Department of Agriculture in the year 2010 after he allegedly downloaded pornographic material on his computer.
The driver accused in a fatal auto bike accident last month has been released on a $10,000 unsecured bond. Last week, 23-year-old Eddie John Camacho was arrested and charged with vehicular homicide for the death of cyclist Eric Bell. Bell was walking his bike on the crosswalk outside the Micronesia Mall in Dedida when he was struck by a car. Bell died 2 weeks later from his injuries. According to court documents, Camacho admitted to driving at 50 miles per hour when he hit Bell. Although he recalls the light was green, he didn't see Bell crossing the street because he was glancing toward the mall to ensure no cars were entering Route 1. A witness told police he saw Bell on the sidewalk. The witness noted that the sun was in his eyes, so he drove slower. When he heard a loud noise, the witness looked in his rearview mirror and saw the bike in the air and realized the cyclist was struck, so he turned around to assist. Camacho's next court hearing is set for the 19th.
In other news, Judge Michael Bordallo may have set an October trial date for former Guam Police Department officer and murder suspect Mark Torrey Jr., but both sides could be asking for more time. Torrey appeared in court Monday morning alongside defense attorney Jay Areola.
Based on the recent Supreme Court decision on People versus Blas, we will be seeking continuance of the trial date as scheduled by the court.
According to prosecutor Joseph McDonald, defense has noted post-traumatic stress disorder as a possible defense to be used in trial. As a result, prosecutors are hustling to identify an expert witness in the field.
We haven't been able to locate someone on island yet, but we continue to look for that, and the judge has let us know that he intends to put deadlines on when that needs to happen.
Wednesday will mark a year since veteran police officer Bert Piolo was fatally shot in the chest while off duty. When he called 911 for help, he told dispatchers that Torrey was with him at the time. Alongside setting the date for trial, Judge Bordallo issued hard deadlines for parties to finalize evidence on August 15th. Trial is scheduled for October 17th.
Governor Calvo says he's doing the right thing to ensure the protection of everyone living on Guam, and in his weekly address, he's calling on the feds to do their part. Governor Eddie Calvo was calling on the federal government to enforce provisions in the Compact of Free Association that allow for the removal and deportation of FSM citizens that are not abiding by the laws of Guam and the United States. The issue was heightened after an incident a few weeks ago at the Hemlani Harmon Apartments when an officer was responding to a disturbance and was attacked by a mob. 2 people were arrested. The governor's weekly address said that it is the federal government's duty to ensure that migrants are complying with the requirements of their residency on Guam. The governor cites statistics which shows a disproportionate number of migrants at the Department of Corrections, a number of whom are repeat offenders.
In addition, we have seen instances where offenders are released as they wait their court dates only to break the law again. This has to stop. We have to take a stand against the criminal activities that endanger the lives of our residents and put an end to the people taking advantage of the U.S. federal government's lack of enforcement of the treaty requirements.
The governor is sending letters to the FSM federal government and the state government of Chuuk to inform them of the situation. Meanwhile, Calvo acknowledged 2 women who came forward during the Harmon attack to shield the officer from further injury. They were identified as Faustina Kinam and Engi John. He thanked them for their courage to do the right thing. You can listen to the governor's address in its entirety on our website.
Well, amid a local and federal investigation into sexual misconduct and extortion, Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez has taken annual leave until next week. During this period, Deputy Joe Sanchez will be the acting superintendent. We first reported in June that a student filed a police complaint alleged inappropriate sexual communication and contact. The Guam Education Board, however, found those allegations to be unsubstantiated, and during mediation, there were allegations of cash and employment demands to keep the matter quiet, which led to the counter-complaint filed by Fernandez and the board. In a statement to KUAM, Fernandez clarified that his leave is not the result of any board action, decision, or request, saying he'll be back to work next week and will be attending training in Denver.
It is a fund used to pay out child support, but in the words of Budget Oversight Chair BJ Cruz, it was raided by the Department of Administration for payroll and tax refunds. Ken Quintanilla reports on the $6 million mistake.
It's just unfortunate what this fund represents. You know, it's untouchable. It's untouchable because it doesn't belong to the general fund, and it should never have happened. And, you know, I don't know what more else but to say that.
Department of Administration Director Christine Belletto admits it was a mistake.
It was brought to my attention by the Attorney General, and once I discovered the error, I did inform our financial manager to make sure to put the money back, and that in the future, we should not be touching any of those funds.
Last Friday, the Office of the Attorney General of Guam confirmed during a budget hearing that $6 million was taken out of the child support enforcement account and later returned. Belletto confirms this took place last month.
We made sure to return the funds, but I mean, it certainly doesn't excuse the fact that it was taken in the first place. And I think they were just pulling from different funds. There's a lot of different funds that DOA oversees, but certainly there are certain funds that we should never ever touch, federal accounts, this account. And so, you know, I really apologize. It was an error on our staff's part, and it will not happen again.
The account is currently maintained by DOA and their accounting system. Belletto says the money was needed to cover payroll and tax refund checks. She says it comes down to a cash management issue that DOA is currently working to address.
One of the things that we're changing is we don't release, you know, check payments or any kinds of funds until we're absolutely sure the money's in there, not release and hope that it comes in by the end of the day, because we really don't know on a daily basis what collections are going to come in from the, you know, to the government.
In the meantime, Vice Speaker BJ Cruz has called on the Office of Public Accountability to conduct a detailed audit on the account. In a release, Cruz says the money should have never been borrowed in the first place and questions why is it that if you take $6,000 from a bank, it's a crime, but if you take $6 million from babies, it's a mistake.
Like I said, it was a mistake. We own up to the mistake. We've put things into place to correct it and make sure it never happens again. But certainly, you know, if they want to do an audit, we will cooperate in any way possible.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintanilla.
Please stay tuned, my friends, because when we come back, Isa Baza joins us from downtown at the legislature, where an information hearing is being held on a bill to help your hospital.
And in Decision 2016 News, the first poll of the election season has been released.
Stay connected to the world at home from everywhere you are. Get the KUAM News app for the latest in local news, videos, sports, streaming, Isla 63 AM, weather, and more. Available for free now at the iTunes App Store or Google Play.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens,
it's a beautiful day.
We rely on the people we trust,
It's a beautiful,
who we can always count on,
beautiful day.
and the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need
It's a beautiful day.
wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, healthcare that's always there for you.
At IT&D, we take a different approach when it comes to data. Introducing IT&D's new rate plans. We've increased the amount of 4G LTE data for our plans to give you more of what you want so you can do more of the things that you want. More snapping, more sharing, more connecting. Bring your own phone and get even more 4G LTE data and up to 3 months of free service. New plans, more data, more value. IT&D, life in motion.
People love my portobello mushroom buttery jack, made with portobello mushrooms, grilled onions, and garlic herb butter. Ever wonder how I came up with it? Well, Actually, I came up with it at the water cooler, but I thought you'd like this cowboy story better. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack is back. Part of the Buttery Jack family. Taste it before it's gone.
Follow KUAM News on Twitter or become a fan on Facebook to get all your daily headlines from Guam's News Network.
Primetime continues on KUAM as party politics are not going to stop public input on Bill 340.
Even though one senator has refused to hold a public hearing on the measure, its author is taking matters into his own hands and holding an informational hearing at the legislature as we speak. Issa Baza joins us with more.
Bree and Jason, I'm here at the legislature where people are lining up to share their thoughts on Bill 340. Similar to a previous bill introduced by Governor Eddie Baza Calvo, the bill would provide $30 million in funding to the Guam Memorial Hospital to be used to pay overdue vendor payables. The money would come from refinancing existing bond debt. However, Committee on Finance and Taxation Chair Senator Michael St. Nicholas has publicly stated he does not plan to hear either bill on session floor. His reasoning, because the bills could substantially increase government debt. I'm here with Director of Public Health, Director James Gillen. So, Mr. Gillen, what is your thought on Bill 340?
I think that, it was a good thing that Senator Rodriguez pulled it out and put it into this way to at least get an informational hearing on this. But it's a good start at $30 million, but it really doesn't solve the long-term problem. It's, again, paying down old debt, leaving a little bit of a cushion on this, on what his version is about $30 million. But we really need to take a serious look and have them entertain what the governor has proposed as $170 million refinance package, which would allow the hospital not only to pay down on debt, but also leave some cushion for other suppliers and also provide the capital that's needed to do some longer term solutions. And that's updating the equipment, being state of the art. But all of this comes at a cost. And I think that what we have to look at is many of the, at least the print media editorials have said, policymakers have to step up and start actually funding the hospital. Even our program, MIP and Medicaid, pays at less than what the hospital needs to deliver service. But we're kind of stuck in that because of the requirements from the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare to only pay what the Medicare rates are. And that equates to about 44 cents on a dollar. So it's really not very reasonable, but it's better than $0. And we have to deal with all of that too. The hospital has an obligation to provide service regardless of ability to pay. We have to figure out a way to fill that gap there, where there's still going to be people who have no means, they don't qualify for any publicly funded programs, and the publicly funded programs are getting strained. I mean, the dollars available for the care are just getting larger and larger, and we've got to come up with some solutions. And we know that tax is not a good word, but we have to find some other ways to finance the care.
Okay,
Good.
Thank you, Director Gillen. Well, many vendors have been lobbying senators to provide or push forward legislation that would properly fund GMH. One of these vendors is JMI Edison, whose president, Ed Elau, said his company has done business with GMH for the past 3 decades. However, he said he and other vendors are frustrated with trying to collect money that's owed to them, and said if non-payment continues, they could resort to filing a suit a collection suit against both GMH and GovGuam. He said the issue is a life and death issue, as by holding hostage funding for Guam's only public hospital, lawmakers are holding hostage funding for much needed medical equipment and medication that could be used to save lives. Bree and Jason, back to you.
Thanks, Issa, for that report. Governor Eddie Calvo names Elise McDonald Iriarte to the Superior Court bench. Iriarte graduated from the University of Southern California and has 15 years experience in private practice as an associate and partner of Carl Smith Ball LLP and now founding partner of Iriarte Camacho Calvo Law Group. She's active with local nonprofits and serves on the Guam Solid Waste Board of Directors. Iriarte is humbled by the nomination. Quote, in my 15 years of practice, I have always thought of how I could be of service to the people of Guam, the place where I was born and raised. I am very flattered and very honored to have been nominated for this position.
The third week of budget hearings continue today with the Office of Public Accountability, and although that agency is crucial to the accountability and transparency of your government, it's requesting a $1.4 million budget for fiscal year 2017, about a $69,000 increase, about 5% what they got last year. And as they've reiterated year after year, Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks says the challenges continue to be headcount.
For nearly a decade, the one common area that continues to plague OPA is the recruitment and retention of qualified staff. We again ended calendar year 2015 with a staff of 12, one more than the previous year. Our management team is in place with an average of over 12 years experience each, and two of my members of the management team are here.
She also said her number of senior auditors is, quote, woefully inadequate, with junior staffers experiencing the most turnover. She adds the implementation of the new Competitive Wage Act did little to make the OPA competitive with autonomous agencies, the feds, and the private sector.
With 7 weeks until the primary election, the first official poll for Decision 2016 has been released. Political analyst and University of Guam professor Ron McNinch's data analysis class surveyed local residents about their feelings on the candidates running in the August 27th primary. McNinch says there were no major surprises, with incumbents coming out strong.
It's hard for new people to move their way up. And, you know, and it's really hard because they have to establish their name. People have to identify and feel like they know these people. On Guam, that's a very particular part of voting behavior is we vote for people we feel we know in some way or are connected to in some way.
McNinch says a few candidates may not have performed as well because of name confusion. A total of 282 registered voters were polled in the senatorial race. The survey showed a Democrat majority of 10-5. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. ranked as the top senatorial candidate, Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks for Public Auditor, and Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo for the congressional race. You can view the complete results by going to our website.
The Department of Public Works is investigating a sinkhole along Marine Corps Drive in front of Adelup that we told you about earlier on social media. It's about 6 feet deep by 6 feet wide. DPW Director Glenn Leon Guerrero says GWA has also been called. Leon Guerrero says the agency recently completed work in that area. If GWA is determined to be the cause of the sinkhole, they will be responsible for the fixture costs.
It is an historical landmark in the village of Malesu that dates back to the early 1900s, and today Governor Eddie Calvo became the first to ring the bell at the newly restored Malesu Bell Tower. The tower, which is listed under the U.S. National Register of Historic Places, has been derelict for several decades. Maritzo Mayor Ernest Chargoloff.
This bell tower is a very long-standing historical structure for the village, and I'm sure the people of Malesu, will join me in being elated and happy that it's been restored.
The $410,000 project began earlier this year and was made possible through funding from the Guam Economic Development Authority and the Guam Preservation Trust.
All right, and now there's this thing that we posted on social media last night and had everybody literally go crazy. People were saying it was Pokemon Go. Photos of unusual smoke rings in the sky have been circulating on Facebook and Twitter and whatever else you have. As NWS meteorologist Brandon Eidlet says, rings are probably jet condensation trails, which are clouds of ice crystals that form from jet exhaust at high levels and levels of high humidity. He said they usually dissipate quickly but can last for a few hours if moisture levels are just right. Eidlet says it probably came from a military jet, but an Anderson Public Affairs spokesperson said they did not have any further information. You should, by the way, you should read that conversation thread we have like on Facebook about how people got creative about
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, somebody said it actually might be the Olympic rings, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
was
it
very,
did
very
kind of look like it, according to Mike, who actually provided us that picture.
Yeah, but the Pokemon Go one, everybody cracked up on that one. 327 likes just on that comment alone. Way to go.
Well, stay tuned because Chris Barnett will have the highlights from PXC 54.
Stones won't break bones. We're in the car on a highway. It's a magical feeling that no one's got a home. This is your home. It's alive. It's pumping blood. In a whole wide world, it's Switzerland. It's Switzerland.
The summer clearance event is on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Now's the time to save thousands on your next vehicle, like a new Hyundai Elantra starting at $16,995 or a new Hyundai Sonata starting at $21,888. Save up to $5,000 off a new Hyundai Santa Fe. How about a new Jeep Cherokee starting at $27,995 or a new Chrysler 200 only $164 per paycheck. See our entire selection online at CarsPlusGuam.com. It's our summer clearance event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
I prepare, I train through strength, determination, and focus. You can overcome anything because every step, every move brings you closer to your goals. This is what makes you an alpha.
While hundreds of homeless seek shelter every day, when memories fade like old photographs, and families struggle to care for loved ones with special needs, as young children are caught in the storm of abuse and neglect, we are there. For over 30 years, we have helped Guam's victims of life when there was nowhere else to turn. You can help too by giving $1 a month. God bless you.
Frank, Tina tells me your new Buick has built-in Wi-Fi. Your Buick has Wi-Fi?
Seriously? Seriously? So I can update my blog from your car?
You have a blog? Can I have the password? Can I get my hedge clippers back? It's a strange password. You know, you should put numbers in there.
Available built-in Wi-Fi. That's expectation shattering. That's the new Buick.
Now get cash back for 20% of the MSRP on these select 2016 Buick vehicles in stock. That's over $10,500 cash back on this Enclave.
Hapaday Guam, Chris Barnett with sports here. Those fights, though. Let's take another look at PXC 54. PXC 54 going down Friday night at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse with another great night of fights. Fight Night Friday underway with an amateur fight. Jeff Mesa taking on Robin Eclavea. Mesa avenges a loss to Robin by earning the decision win, something that has been on his mind since losing to Eclavea. Now, Eclavea had Mesa's back in the second round, but couldn't sink in the choke as Mesa fought through the submission attempts. Third round, a lot of action as both fighters stayed busy. Mesa looked like the more polished fighter, using his wrestling to his advantage to secure the W. Korean top team fighter Min Gu Lee and Tony Regis showed their stand-up game, keeping the fight standing and giving fans something to cheer about. Lee looked like the more crisp striker. He's a champion in Top FC, mixing in elbows with his punches. Lee able to cut Regis during the exchange. Regis showing his toughness, pressing forward, willing to trade shots with Lee. Now the KTT fighter used some vicious leg kicks that buckled Regis. Min Gu Lee found his rage as the fight wore on, eventually taking the win by way of referee stoppage. Mark Abelardo taking care of business against Korean fighter Jung Bum Choi. Abelardo loading up on his punches and looking for the KO punch every time he threw. Choi tried his best to take the fight to the ground, but Abelardo's sprawl and brawl defense was the difference maker in the fight. After landing a low but legal leg kick, Abelardo jumped all over Choi and finished him off by way of TKO. Shane Peekaboo Alvarez picked up a much-needed dub over Emilio Urrutia by rear naked choke. Shane, riding a 2-fight losing streak going in, took his training camp to Alliance MMA in Cali in preparation for PXC 54. Alvarez worked heavily on his stand-up, and it showed as he stayed in the pocket and let his hands go early. Shane with a good footwork here, avoiding Urrutia's power shots. Peekaboo able to use his jits and sink in the rear naked choke for the W. After the fight, Alvarez said the camp did him some good, striking with some of the best fighters in the business and at times getting the best of them. Hawaii's Riley Dutro put on a great performance and knocked out Japan's Kentaro Watanabe in the first round. Dutro said he wasn't happy with his last performance in the PXC and wanted to make a statement. Well, he did. Dutro, a lanky fighter for the 125 weight class, stalked Watanabe all over the cage, waiting for his chance to deliver that KO blow. Once Riley connected, it was lights out for Watanabe. And after the crowd calmed down, Dutro went on to call for the belt, saying it's not around his waist yet, but it's his. Put anyone in front of me, I'm ready, he said. Now, Dylan the Muscle Fussell picked up the unanimous decision win over Tyrone Jones. Fussell, dropping down from 170 pounds, was the stronger fighter. Jones, able to rock Fussell, though, with some punches, but couldn't get the finish. Dylan went to his ground game after eating some hard staples by Jones. Jones came out of the third and final round looking for the finish. Tyrone, busy. Jones swinging for the fences, connected on some knees in the clinch. Fussell able to keep Jones on his back, though, late in the final round and cruise to the unanimous decision win. Han Sul Kim defeated the crank Frank Camacho by way of TKO. Kim using his height and reach advantage to keep Frank away while he picked his shots. The crank kept moving forward and tried to keep the fight close. Frank landed a shot that wobbled Kim early and followed up with some shots looking to put an end to the fight. The KTT fighter, though, regained his composure quickly and went to work with his stand-up. Kim clipped Camacho and followed up with some hard shots for the referee stoppage. Brogan Killer B Walker stays undefeated at 4-0 against the very tough Jiu-Jitsera Kate Da Silva, who went to the fight with a 10-3 record. Brogan controlled the first round, but just as the round came to an end, Da Silva caught Walker in an armbar and started to extend the elbow when the bell rang. Walker used her clinch game and some dirty boxing in the second round to earn points and outstruck Da Silva standing. Brogan with the unanimous decision win. After 3 rounds, all of her wins have come by way of decision. Roque Martinez and the big hit, Calvin Fitial, lived up to all of the hype. Stand-up war early as Fitial came out of his corner throwing bombs. Calvin letting loose everything he had, going for the KO of the night. Martinez suffered a cut on his forehead but stayed in there as his vision didn't bother him. He was seeing just fine. Roque weathering the storm, covering up and countering with shots of his own. Fitial now a little winded as the fight went on with his hands down but still throwing effective jabs. Roque with some takedowns, working position with strikes and side control. Third round, Martinez with the takedown and stayed busy with punches and staples and those leg kicks for the unanimous decision win over Fitial. All right, there you go. Just done with PXC 54, and I can't wait for PXC 55. Hey, remember anything sports, hit up our sports director, Dave Delgado, show at KUAM.com. That's SHO at KUAM.com. Thanks for watching. My name's Chris Barnett, and you keep on shining, Guam. Adios!
The island boy, they gotta be so shy. Say the island girl know how to have a good time. Say the cruise with me, baby, I'll be a pretty lady. Say the cruise with me, baby, I'll be a pretty lady. By that good life, let me show you a good time. Let me show you one.
The Nissan Summer Fun event is on. Nissan's got your back with the No Worries Car Care Plan. Your new Nissan comes with a free 3-year protection plan and free paint sealing. Enjoy discounts up to $10,000 during the Summer Fun event when you choose from the award-winning lineup of Nissan cars, trucks, and SUVs. Take advantage of super low, easy financing and save even more at Nissan Upper Tumon. Nissan Summer Fun event. Find out more at NissanGuam.com.
You know the rules. Eggs and sausage, hotcakes and butter. Morning fare, right? Well, McDonald's has thrown away those rules and opened a new world of possibilities. Now you're free to start enjoying the breakfast you love anytime you wish.
No way.
Yes way. Introducing McDonald's new all-day breakfast menu. Once you changed how you ate breakfast. It's time to start changing when.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
When you reserve a party at Chuck E. Cheese's, it's guaranteed to be a blast! Blast off! And now, birthdays are more of a blast than ever! Because for a limited time, tickets in the Ticket Blaster are worth double! Kid can be a kid.
The weather, to say the least, has been kind of weird lately, and here's what we think is going to happen over the next few days. Isolated showers tonight with partly cloudy conditions and low temperatures of 80 degrees. Wind is coming from the northeast, but that could change anytime. On Tuesday, kind of the same thing, but mostly sunny in the afternoon with a high near 90. So once again, hot afternoon temperatures. East-northeast winds coming at 7 to 9 miles per hour with a low of 79. By the time we get to midweek, partly sunny skies are expected with a high near 89 and lows around 79. So ironically, it's going to be more sunny, but the temperature is going to be lower. Gotta love Guam weather.
I love our weather. I love the weather we've been having recently with
And
the
we
rain.
have the best sunsets anywhere in the world. Yeah, true.
Well, let's get
That's
to
what I
your
said.
birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Happy birthday going out to Jude Ryan Kenga. We love and miss you from your wife, kids, and the family.
Also, happy birthday wishes, the happiest of birthday wishes, to Christine Kitsutsu.
A happy belated birthday going out to Maria Stella again from your famous co-workers Lynn and Natasha Marie.
Someone named JJ sends their very special happy birthday wishes to Andrea Ungakta.
And happy birthday to our very own Megan Paris. Happy birthday, Megan.
She is awesome.
Yes, she is.
Megan is very, very awesome. And you can be awesome too. Everybody's awesome when you're a member of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. And to do so, just go to KUAM.com, register, then just sit back and watch. And you can actually watch too on the KUAM News app for Apple TV. We're on that platform too now. It's really, really cool. Check it out.
Keep it here. Extras next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Jason Salas. We get our episode started with Nestor Lecanto with your latest episode of Business Matters.
Business Matters, presented by the Guamanian Magazine.
Guam businessman Benson Aoyung was at a trade show in the States a couple of years ago when he first saw the idea for his new venture, Cube Inc.
And I was walking around, and then boom, I saw this thing that just stuck out, in the middle of the road. And it's not just that, it was a big baby, a cute little baby. I think it was like some type of a formula commercial. And but besides that, the 3D of it, I saw people lining up to trying to take pictures with it. So I said to myself, I think this. It will be great for Guam.
The use of billboards actually goes back more than 150 years on the mainland to the mid-1850s. On Guam, there are still just a handful of locations, most notably the electronic and hanging billboards at the ITC intersection. Aoyung says the large outdoor advertising structures are typically set up in high traffic areas, such as along busy roads. They are designed, he says, to catch people's attention and create an impression very quickly.
It's what we call the OOH, out-of-home advertising. It's been around for many years, and the idea is that most people spend their time out of the house, whether they go to work, they go shopping, they go eat, or whatever they do. And for Guam especially, nobody walks, everybody drives. So, and the road that people use on Guam, it's, of course, is Marine, Court Drive.
Aoyung says his particular billboard uses heavy-duty canvas material for the signs and are large enough to be seen at a fairly good distance.
The footprint is 20 feet by 20 feet and about 25 feet tall. the structure is made out of metal, and we have an engineer that engineered the foundation so that the whole structure is meet the building codes of Guam.
He says the billboards are also fairly common throughout Asia, especially in cities where there is dense pedestrian traffic. But because of the lack of space in many of those cities, billboards are placed on the sides of buildings and sometimes are freestanding, hanging above buildings. Meanwhile, experts have studied the relationship between outdoor advertising and traffic accidents and have found no authoritative evidence linking them. Even the U.S. Department of Transportation has determined there is no correlation.
That's why it took us some time. Went through 2 years of going through the paperwork and regulation to make sure that it's safe for the community, and then it went around with the community input as well, and that before we got a permit to construct.
Aoyung says, like many other businesses, one of the keys for Cube Inc. is location, location, location. He says they did their homework when looking for available land parcels and decided this spot in Upper Tuma next to a traffic light was a good candidate.
In this particular location, is DPW have made a study a few years back that on an average daily traffic, we have about 77,000 plus vehicles that's passed by this location. So that translates to about 2.4 million vehicles that will pass by and see the billboard at this location. It's a disadvantage for some business who is maybe located, their operation is off the main road, or maybe their business location is on the opposite side of the island. So this allowed them to have a presence in in an area where it's people heading to Judicial, which is one of the most populated areas on island.
Aoyung declined to discuss pricing, but said his company Cube Inc. can work with clients to meet their needs.
Because we're in the business of sign and graphics industry for about 25 years, so we don't want to just rent a space. We want to include a turnkey solution, hassle-free for our customers. So what we include is we'll find the right material that will withstand the environment of Guam. We'll install it correctly, make sure there's no wrinkle and stretch well.
He says one of the most common questions he gets asked concerns the weather. What happens if there's a storm?
And then it's one thing that everybody asks is, what about typhoon and stuff like that? So we have a crew that stands ready to take it down whenever impending typhoon comes.
For KUAM's Business Matters, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Business Matters, presented by the Guamanian Magazine.
Stay tuned, there is more coming.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that, and I've replaced them with the white fillings, and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
Happy day, everybody, and welcome back to the show. There is a new law on the books that affects you and I, whereby eligible first-time offenders can have their cases expunged. It's a fascinating public policy and who better to explain it than a man of the law himself, the presiding judge, Alberto Lamarena. Your Honor, welcome back.
Okay, thank you, Jason, for inviting me.
All right, well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Always good to have someone as learned as you break down this law and everything.
Oh,
So,
thank you, you're so kind.
well, in layman's terms, for somebody like me that does not get, public policy and everything, how can first-time offenders actually consider themselves eligible to have their records expunged?
Okay, these are first-time offender who were charged for possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. That's people mostly that were caught with possession or consumption of ice, methamphetamine. Now, these are the cases that were, these are the people that were convicted between 1995 and 2005. We counted about 1,800 cases were filed during that period. That's when the methamphetamine epidemic started on Guam. And that was prior to the implementation of the adult drug court, which is implemented in 2003. As you well know, the adult drug court has been a very successful program at the Superior Court of Guam. Those people graduating, we have a 92% success rate of those who graduated. That means they don't come back or reoffend for possession of a scheduled controlled substance again. So it's a very highly successful program. What we wanted to do was to be equitable and fair for those people who went to the same treatment and to the same program prior to the implementation of the adult drug court program. And so they would have the same opportunity to have their cases expunged. So I thank the legislature, Speaker Cruz, Senator Respicio, Senator Camacho, Senator Toniata, and the governor for signing this legislation into law. This gives an opportunity for those people who went through who were convicted between 1995 and 2005, an opportunity to come to the court to apply to have and request to the court to have their case expunged.
And now again, for the average person out there, when your case is expunged, when a matter that you have previously convicted for, when it is expunged, that just basically means that it's not going to show up when you apply for a job, when you try to get a loan, things like that.
It should not show up when you apply for a job or apply for college, etc. So when you go to
It's
court
wiped off your record
and get a clearance from the court or a clearance from the police department, that record will not be shown in your report.
Now, Judge, you're also big on recidivism, as we talked many, many times.
Yes.
But in the rare occasion that, maybe someone was convicted of ICE and then they go through this program, they have it stricken from their record. If they should be convicted in the future, again, the process starts all over, or?
Okay, what happens, Jason, not everybody's cases will be expunged because there are certain requirements that you have to meet before the court will consider your request. Because just as you go the adult drug court, we have requirements and to enter the adult drug court program. And the requirements are that, one, you have to be, of course, an adult. Secondly, you have had no prior possession charges, convicted of any possession charges. You have not been convicted of any dealing in drugs or any violent crimes and other requirements set by the Attorney General's office. What the procedure will be, you'll make a request to the Superior Court of Guam. The case will be assigned to me. I will then turn over their request to the Attorney General. They will then determine whether or not this person would have been eligible to the adult drug court program if the adult drug court program was in place at that time. If they find out that they are eligible to have entered the program, then the probation will then determine whether or not they had any subsequent convictions in nature, such as felony or violent types of crime. If the probation office determines that they don't, then the court then will grant the request for expungement. If they do not, then I will deny the request for expungement. However, the court will, of course, give an opportunity for the defendant to come before me to make a motion for reconsideration. If that happens, then the court will then appoint the public defender to assist that person in making that motion and to argue on behalf of that person, so that the court then will consider whether or not to expunge their case.
So to allay maybe the concerns of John Q. Public, this isn't just making sure that everybody who was convicted of drugs within that period and everything like that gets a free ride. There is a very exhaustive and very well-defined procedure that you go through to make sure that it works.
Correct, because the adult drug court program itself that we have now currently in place does have legal and clinical requirements in order to get to the program. So these people have to have met those requirements as well.
Okay, when can people start finding out if they are eligible, or have you already seen people come forward?
Well, you know, I've been told by the clerk's office, a lot of people are coming in, picking up their requests to reopen their criminal case and requests for an expungement. So we expect to have a lot of requests filed probably this week.
Mm-hmm.
So the word is out there, and you know how Guam is. Once the word is out, everybody seems to hear it.
People are going to tell each other. So I would think you and your staff have your work cut out for you to a certain degree.
Yes, we'll have our work cut out, and the Attorney General and probation as well.
Okay.
But you know, it's a good type of work because, you know, we're trying to give up a second chance to each of these individuals who, in the past, had not had the opportunity to get a job or go to college or do other things because of their criminal record.
Yeah, this is a fantastic and fascinating policy and everything.
Well, I'm very excited, and I hope that we have as many, we can expunge as many of these people as we can. And we anticipate maybe in the hundreds, I hope.
Well, very interesting. Well, well, Your Honor, you're always welcome back, of course.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
We'd like to bring you back, and you'll find out how the program's going as we move forward.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, Citizen Posse, thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
All right.
Okay.
Please stay tuned, everybody. We are back right after this.
At IT&D, we take a different approach when it comes to data. Introducing IT&D's new rate plans. We've increased the amount of 4G LTE data for our plans to give you more of what you want so you can do more of the things that you want. More snapping, more sharing, more connecting. Bring your own phone and get even more 4G LTE data and up to 3 months of free service. New plans, more data, more value. IT&D, life in motion.
Steak used to cost an arm and a leg. But now you can get new tender braised steak and melted cheese wrapped in a warm flatbread. Taco Bell steak flatbread sandwich. Eat it for them.
Welcome back, everybody. Di Chamorro sentiment contra y peligro means against all perils. It's a beautiful passage from Guam's national hymn and is also the name of the annual Guam National Guard exercise that kicks off this week to test our first responders. Now, Jenna Gamindi and Major Josephine Blas are two lovely ladies, and they are two of the hardest working people on Guam because they are heavily involved in this. So, ladies, half a day. Thanks for joining me.
Half a day. Thanks for having us.
Okay, so hopefully in maybe less than a minute, and we'll start with you, Jenna.
Sure.
Talk about the scope of this exercise. Who's involved?
So Contra y Peligro is really a multi-agency, full-scale exercise that's going to be happening island-wide between tomorrow and Wednesday. And the goal of this exercise is to train our federal response agencies as well as the government of Guam and our military partners so that they can train together to respond to a chemical, biological, or nuclear incident. So there are multiple incidents that are going to be happening around the island throughout tomorrow and Wednesday.
Now, we must emphasize these are all staged, so if anybody sees anything suspect or anything like that, keep in mind it is a training exercise.
Yes.
We haven't seen this in a few years. I mean, we had something like this with a regional military, and Major, maybe you can jump in and everything, but we had that a few years ago where they were actually conducting, triage situations.
Absolutely. The military
ABC.
annually conducts various exercises to test the capability of the military. In this case, we're testing the capability of the entire island, working in concert together, to come to to make sure that we're ready, so we can come to a good result for all the agencies. Make sure we test not only the Guard's capability, the government of Guam, and the federal government, each of our capabilities, and then the capability of us to work together.
Now, Jenna, what are some of the situations and scenarios you guys will be running through? Because you guys over at Homeland Security and Civil Defense, you guys deal with natural disasters, so
right.
Massive power outages, utility outages. Hopefully, we haven't had any public chaos because you guys always do a good job of disseminating information. But things of that nature.
Oh, thank you for that. So for the exercise, it's not for natural-based or natural events. It's going to be more on the weapons of mass destruction side, or the WMD, more for radiological and nuclear explosives, or that kind of response. But our agency is a coordinating agency as a whole, so we would be the ones coordinating between government of Guam and our federal and military partners. But what the residents can expect out of this exercise, We're not privy to all of the details because we are actually playing in the exercise.
Sure.
But we do know that there's going to be a heavy military response with a helicopter down in Mauricio tomorrow morning. So that's something that the residents can expect. We also plan to have an active shooter scenario, and that's going to be at a location that's not disclosed on a government of Guam property. The only thing about that is we're not releasing all of that information because the people that are playing should respond as they would in normal situation.
Sure. The more realistic, the better the training.
Right. So really the hope for this is to let people know that they can expect a lot of heightened emergency response activity. They'll be seeing a lot of response vehicles out there, ambulances, the police vehicles, some sirens, maybe some loud explosions, to just not be alarmed and just to be aware that there's an exercise going on. And that safety is the most important thing here, and that all of these activities will be monitored to ensure the safety of everyone involved.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys always do a really good job of reminding people that it is an exercise. Please don't freak out or anything like that. You let us know, and we let the people know.
Right, and we also have a line that we're opening so that people can call in if they have any questions. And that's going to be the Office of Homeland Security and Civil Defense, and they can call in at 475-9600, and we'll be there to answer any of the questions that people have.
Okay, Major, it's your very nature as a uniformed professional and everything to have, world-class training, always be ready to go at a moment's notice.
And,
so how do you maintain that level of
specifically for our 94th Civil Support Team, Weapons of Mass Destruction, this is one of their tests, their evaluations that they need to constantly go through and pass to ensure that they're always in a ready state. As you know, not only do we participate in exercises, but every time there's a suspected package or envelope or somewhere, our team is deployed to respond. So we always need to be ready. There was a lot of incidences over the last few days all around the world. And hopefully that'll never happen in Guam, but if it does, we, not only the Guam Guard, but all the agencies, federal and local government, we just want to be ready. And like Jenna said, there's going to be a lot of activity, and residents should not be alarmed, but if they're not sure what's going on, just give them a call, and they'll be able to decipher if it's a real world or an exercise event.
And I guess that is good training for us civilians too, because we can kind of get in the habit of, hey, if I see something that looks a little bit out of place or even scary and everything like that, I know who to call. I can run through the procedure. I can get on the phone and talk to you guys, and you guys can either allay my concerns or can say, okay, let me give you guys and get in the habit of giving you guys the right information.
Right, and along those lines, we want to encourage everyone, to let the community know, or those that live around their community, maybe the elderly or those that don't listen into the news or don't check in with the internet, to let them know if there's an exercise coming up tomorrow and the day after. That way, we can help spread the word throughout the community, and that way we're all involved and kind of on the same page.
Now, again, without giving away too much, approximately how many personnel will be participating in this?
It's a multi-scale exercise. I mean,
this is big scale. Yeah.
Big scale. We're talking about 20 or 30 agencies, local, federal, and military agencies that are going to be involved.
Very.
So it's a big one.
Yeah.
And again, how do we define weapons of mass destruction? Because that is
chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, anything to that nature is considered a sea burning, and that's what the 94 CST responds to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else should people know about maybe what's going on, and how long is the exercise going to last?
So it's going to be between a 24-hour and 36-hour period. It should last no later than Wednesday evening, but you can see some activity throughout the night. Actually, it shouldn't bother residents throughout the evening, but it's going to be happening throughout the evening as well for tomorrow night.
Okay. And what does it mean to, from a military perspective, Major, to participate in training like this and making sure that your skills are always at tip-top shape, and if called upon to respond at any given moment, you guys are ready to go and everybody knows, everything by the book?
Right. We take exercises such as this and any other training that we do very seriously, because, they say, like, when the balloon goes up, we have to be ready. So this is just another way that we get our CST and the Guard ready to respond to anytime we're called up.
Anything else you want to add, Joe?
Well, this is a good opportunity for our federal partners, military partners, and GovGuam to kind of test the operational capabilities of all of them together, and kind of see some gaps or shortfalls, and then even see what went well for the future. And that way we can all work together.
Absolutely. I mean, when we do an after-action report in the end, we see what went well and what we can fix. So the next time it happens, or if a real world event happens, we are totally ready.
All right. Well, we'd love to have you back and, talk about, how it went after
That'd be great.
after everything's over. Okay, so hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right, and we will see you on the flip side of this break. Stay tuned.